Hi guys, this is your girl Nails. Welcome back to my channel. For those who are new here, guys, welcome. And for those who are always here with me, welcome back. And guys, thank you for continuously supporting me. Just as the title says, the jungle in my working life in Finland. Guys, I try to put my thoughts in all, like to really summarize this whole thing, because my journey has not been short. Like, the process and everything wasn't short, but because I think that if I have to do a long video, it's gonna be really like, but what we can do is that you can send me questions and maybe I can do a video where I can answer some of your questions. So like I had mentioned earlier in my videos that I came to Finland as a student, and along the way I changed my studies, and I studied social welfare, a bachelor's degree in social services and a Scandinavian system, welfare system. And it's only in my final year, like first I have to say that how I already entered into the job market when I was a student. Like most students, or even exchange students, like foreign students who come abroad, we do part-time jobs, to put us through our academic year. So that's what I did, and I only worked for 20 hours because that was what was required by law, or that's what I could do by law. And then in the summer you could work like more than the 20 hours, like full-time, and then when you go back to school you go back to these 20 hours. So with my B status, which was student status then, and it was this B plus, now they have changed the whole system. In my final year, I didn't have a job, and I was thinking like, how am I going to finance my final year? So I needed a summer job like real fast. And I started talking to one of my friends, and they told me that, you know what, I know of a place maybe you can, because you already have like the theory of social. Why don't you apply in the elderly care? And because I wasn't confident with my language, I didn't speak the language yet, because in the school they didn't offer us like the Finnish language. So my world as a student was totally different, because we were international students, so we used English as the mode of communication, and the part-time jobs I was working, I used English, so I didn't have to use Finnish as such. And this was my greatest challenge when I had to go for the interview. Guys, the only two words I knew then was just, ni, and yo, and that's how I passed my interview. But I thank God that that employer believed in my skill, in the sense that she believed to give me the chance, and I was the first foreign, or a worker of a foreign background, who was gonna start to work there. And as time went by, I now really needed a full-time, because this was only like, small short contracts, like 1 day, 2 day, but I needed a full-time. So I spoke to one of my professors, and she gave a suggestion that why don't I put in my name at the unemployment office. I didn't even know what that is then. So I gave her the permission to go ahead and put my name and my phone number. So she did so. And just before we broke for the summer, she got a phone call that someone was looking for for someone for the summer. So she came and gave us the contacts, and I called up the employer then. And when I called, they said, okay, is it possible you come for the interview, because I'm looking for a personal assistant. Guys, this was like another town altogether. So I had to leave my town where I was living, where I was studying, and go now to the capital of Finland. And so I went for the summer job. We're supposed to have that job, like me and my buddy, but eventually she got a job in our school town, so the whole job was given to me. So I did my 3 months as a personal assistant, and I had enough money to sustain me like for almost half of the academic year. And then by the time I was almost done, I was coming back, I got another part-time job that I would be doing while I'm in school. So in that way I was covered. So today the year is running. Then the reality hit me that I was not gonna be leaving Finland, that after my studies, I'll probably want to work. And in the process of now, like, the summer job or this part-time job, like I knew now the school is ending, I need to get a job. Uh, and my part-time job, which I was also doing, came to an end. My contract ended. Guys, the thought that I don't have any form of income and everything like was a source of panic. And I applied jobs, even the minimum, like all sorts of jobs, from cleaning to everything, but I didn't get. Then I decided to call the employer I had worked for during the summer, like the previous summer. And as God would have it, they were in need of a personal assistant at that particular time. And I remember when they asked me, when can I start? And I'm like, I can actually start immediately. That's how I went to sign my over 5 years contract of a personal assistant. So I started working as a personal assistant for like over 5 years. And during this time of my employment, I learned a lot of things which I didn't learn in school. And that also includes the part of integration into the Finnish society. The words, like social words, through my work, I got to learn a lot of things. And then also, I got to visit a lot of cultural places in Finland and a lot of places because, I mean, being a personal assistant means that wherever the person is going, you're with them. So I got to experience like the Finnish culture in a way, in a level I wouldn't have experienced when I was a student. And then sometime during those 5 years, I remember my employer asking me, because they knew that I was in the process of finishing my thesis and they knew that I was yet to graduate. And I remember they were like, you know what, you should graduate because I don't think you should remain as a personal assistant for too long because your ability and this is limited. And I think it's best if you explore like different fields of the social field. And I remember for me, what was more important was the fact that I had an income flowing and being, of course, from a foreign background and everything. And I knew how hard it had been trying to getting a job. And so it was already a security. But now someone is telling me that I need to now come out of this comfort zone. And for them to kick my butt, what they did, they said that for me to sign the next contract, you will have to show me that you've graduated. And this put me on a panic mode, guys. And I can tell you, a thesis that took me years to finish took me 3 months when I heard that my contract was not going to be renewed if I hadn't graduated. So anyway, I graduated and they kept their word, renewed my contract. But after graduation, the words of my then employer, they really sunk deep. They really sunk deep. And I had to look for other options. And it's after that I left that place, and then I was out of work for like a while. And after that, life happened. And it's during my time of leave, this like I used to do like other things that were not related to social. I had even entered into restaurants and everything, but I came out after when I got my first child, I took up I took the break. And it's during that time I had to go through everything I had learned in school. Like the system as to which I had studied in school and how it's implemented was a total different like game place for me. And it's only when I was now dealing during that my parental leave, I started to understand everything I had studied in school, because I had to start looking for all the services that were required for families. I had to look for if services that were connected to everything that had to do with our family and even children. And I began to now dig deep to understand it. But of course the children don't remain small forever. And after about 9 months, I was like, I need to go back to work. And I was practically like itching. And of course for me, I was a bit like, I need to go back to work just to to have that rhythm of being at work. And I remember this whole time now I'm at home, I'm not having any connect, like I don't have as such like command in Finnish or speaking with anybody. So it's just me, you know, the kids, and whenever I meet the people I'm meeting, even those who have Finnish background, spoke to me in English. So Finnish never really never became like, you know, that priority. But I knew that whatever I wanted to do, I needed to learn the language. And with the little Finnish I knew, and with all the paperwork I had to go through and the frustration to keep calling someone to tell me what, like the papers and decisions that were coming, what they meant, that frustration drove me to open up my mind. When I realized that I was not, now that I'm here, like, you know, I've started family, I realized that I'm not gonna go anywhere. And it's crazy that the minute I came to that realization, and thank you God for the gift of languages, all the words I used to hear every day, it's by default, I started to understand everything within my environment. But that was not sufficient for me. So I decided what I'm going to do. When this friend of mine told me there was a job opening in a senior's home, I decided to start off by doing short contracts, like maybe 2 or 3 shifts in a week. And that's how I started gradually. But when I got there, I got very curious people, because they had never seen people of my ethnicity. And so the curiosity, it's only what they read on paper. So we became like friends. I'm working, but at the same time, we were learning from one another. They taught me every dialect I could find in this country, because there were lots, like they all came from all different parts of Finland. So their language, their Finnish language, when they spoke, was always different. And I got to pick up like words from there. But of course, right now I've forgotten like majority of the dialects, because it's not something I get to hear every day. But at that particular time, oh, thank God to those people. Just spending time with the seniors, even for 2 minutes, or even when we're, you know, when we're preparing them and everything, you know, doing the routine in the seniors' homes, the conversations we had is what developed my language. And then when I was having like the team meetings, I got to learn like a lot of vocabularies related to social work, of which I would never have learned in school if, you know, being the degree was in English. And I stayed there for a while until I left the workplace, and I was confident enough, though I did not speak what they would call book Finnish. I pride myself in communication. I could communicate. That was the key. That was a key factor for me, that I could be able to communicate with the people I was gonna work with. With the writing, I could perfect it later, because one thing is that I realized that's how that's how I learned my language, because I could speak the language. Writing also was not much of a challenge in that way. And also considering that I speak another language which has a similar way of writing in, like in Finnish. So I speak Swahili, which in a way, the way you write it is the same way in Finnish language. The way you pronounce it is the way you write. So it was somehow an advantage for me in that way. And also, thank God for the gift of languages, that I pick them easily in terms of speaking. So as time went by, I thought I need to, you know, put myself there. So what did I do? One evening, I put in 1,000, like lots of applications to different people. I just like picked names randomly from the internet, from different organizations, and just sent in my CV. I didn't even go to through the unemployment office, because that's a story for another day. Maybe I'll probably discuss about like some of the challenges I faced, like using some of the platforms that, you know, that are there to help. But for me, they didn't help. Like all my jobs have come not through the unemployment office, but through either my connection, or I have just, you know, like I said, like right now, I went to the internet, like put in different applications all over. And one day I get a phone call and I'm asked for an interview. And guys, I didn't even remember where I had put what application. And they go like, yeah, we are calling because you had sent an application looking for a job, and the skills you have are what we're looking for. Guys, I was like, where was that, and who is this? Anyway, I went for the interview, and then they told me they call me, and anyway, I got the job anyway. And it's only when I got into the job, and I did ask my coworker, then I said, like, how did you guys, like, get in touch with me? And like, how did this happen? They're like, yeah, you had sent your CV to our boss like a while back, and when they were planning to start this project, and when they were thinking about like what they're looking for, the boss remembered that there's somebody who had sent an email to them, and they had the qualifications. So guys, I got my 6 months contract, and in that place, because they already knew I was working for 6 months, I was very vocal with my co-workers that at the ending of my contract that I needed a job. And they would help there and there, because that's what we were doing. And even when I was there, I was still putting in application in the same not organization, but let's call it in the same municipality, like somehow related. So I was putting in, but I didn't get in. And I think I went for one interview where they had called me once, but because I lacked the experience of a specific thing which they were looking for, that's the only reason why they said that I can't work for them. So it was okay. I mean, I was used to this kind of thing, so I did go for the interview anyway. Then I put in an application again, and this time I put it in an organization where one of my co-workers had given it to me with the same thing that they used to, the network, and someone had said that there's an organization like looking for someone, and what they're looking for, this my coworker goes like, it's the skills that you have, and I think this would be a very good place for you. And I was like, nah, because I didn't feel like I wanted to come out of my comfort zone. And they're like, just put in the application. So I did anyway, and my work came to an end where I was working, and I went home, and because I knew now I was jobless. So but the day I had an appointment with my job officer, guys, just after finishing all the paperwork there, when I left the office, I get a phone call. And this phone call changed my life forever. This call comes in, and they're like, are you so and so? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, can you come in for an interview? Guys, I was like, huh? This is the best part, that I didn't even have a slightest idea. I didn't even have an idea as to, and I think that's a habit, maybe a bad habit to say, because how could I not? I mean, how do you put in applications and never? But I guess it's the fact that I had already gone through that stage of, sending applications and nothing ever coming. So it's like, where you put it, nothing, like in that kind of attitude. But when I got this call, and I was called in for an interview, as God would have it, I got the job. And it was one of the places that everything I would have wanted to exercise in terms of my ability, my skill, and everything I had learned in school. That is what I got to use in my job. And I was so happy that I was able to, everything I had acquired, from the theory to the practical, I had acquired through my own personal life, and also like, with everything I had done. Because it's funny, guys, I also have to tell you that because of how I had become obsessed with understanding the practicality of what I had studied in school. People who are my friends, they used to call me to ask me about, like, if they receive like maybe a decision from from, if they receive a decision, like let's say from Kela or from the unemployment office, or any official decision, they would call me and go like, what does this decision mean? And I would be the one going to dig and through this, that's how I acquired my experience before I got paid for it. And I loved it, because for me, when I went to school, or when I went to study initially, when I was thinking of a career path, I wanted to work with people. I wanted to be around people. I wanted to sort of walk with people in that way. And I'm very happy that God made it possible for me to have that career path of working with people in their lives and, you know, everything about them, that they trust me that much to, you know, to help them through with whatever it is they will be going through or whatever it is they might need. It's a blessing for me because every day and every moment I spent with every situation that was not mine, it brought a new light into my life, and it made me also a better person, and it made me also a person who appreciates even the little of the least of things. So that's how my journey in Finland and working it happened. And like I said, it's not to say I try to short it, to make it short. If I'm to give like detail for detail, like the challenges of everything, guys, I can do that as another video, like, you know, the challenges and everything. But I just want to tell somebody that regardless of the 1,000 doors that are locked, one or two will be open. And I want to be thankful and very grateful to the employers who took me in without having even the thought of, was I good enough? They just took my skill and they saw what I could bring to the table, which was good for them and also for the companies. And I think, for me, I think the challenge, when I have also like discussed with different people, I think the challenge in most cases when it comes to, like, you know, people from foreign background getting jobs in Finland also lies with the attitudes towards the employers. And for me, that's why I say I'm very grateful to these employers who took me as an individual. They didn't, not at even one time, even during the interviews, did they ever ask me about where I come from or where I grew up. That did not come. These are conversations that happened later when I was already a member of the team. And, you know, as people who are working together, you know, you begin to discuss small talks and, you know, small things. That's the only time that, you know, where I come from and, you know, my cultural way of doing things or this. And these are things that came after I had already been a part of the team. My skill to them was more important, and what I could bring to the table was more important for them. So, guys, I want to tell you, hang in there, don't lose hope, and remember, keep doing what you're doing. Don't give up. If I had given up with everything that I went through, I don't think the doors that opened would have opened. And if all those doors that shut, like some of them straight to my face, I mean, I don't know where I would be, but I'm here now and I'm happy and I love what I do, and I pray to God that for what I do, it's something that I will continue to do because it's the path that He chose, like, you know, the path I chose and the path which He chose to perfect for me, because I love my job. I love what I do. And don't give up. So how about that? Till next time, guys, remember to click the button and stay strong. Don't give up. Mwah.